what's the beast all about? It's NATO and the EU, and that includes the UN, the other nations, and so forth. But the beast is, if you say, well, what about UN? Isn't that part of the beast? No, the UN is not a part of the beast. The beast is the beast nations are members of the UN. The UN works with the beast, but the UN is not the beast. The beast, all you got to do is go to Google, put in NATO. NATO. See how many nations is a part of it. Then put in what is it? The EU. Matter of fact, let me do that for you new people. I'm gonna show you who the beast is. But somebody told me it was the U. No, it's not the UN. The UN works with them. Okay, give me a second here. And all these Edomites that claim that they know the Bible and the prophecies, when you all you got to do, like I said, you control the narrative. All you got to do is ask them about Revelation anywhere where it speaks about the beast. You can go to Daniel 7, Daniel 2, Revelation. The only time that the beast is really mentioned, you know what I mean by the beast, not a beast, but the beast. Actually, it actually says in Revelation, beast. So they're not going to tell you. They'll say, oh, it's an antichrist. Or some of them say it's the Arabs. They don't want to admit that it's because they don't know. So if they don't say NATO and the EU, then they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And they don't touch on that. These Christians, these apologists, they don't want to get on anything dealing with it because they don't understand. These theological seminaries, which I call cemeteries, they don't teach, they don't go into prophecies. They might touch on a couple of prophecies here and there and break them down wrong or interpret them wrong. Let me use that word. So let me go to NATO. Okay, NATO. Let me see. Let me open this up. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, also called North Atlantic Alliance, is an intergovernmental, you got more than one government coming together, military, that's why they call it beast, military alliance of, now it's 32 member states. Well, it said 10, 10 heads and seven heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon their heads. So where do you get the 32 from? That doesn't add up. But when you go back to all these 32 nations, which are all European nations, they were all part, when you link all these nations back to their original nation, they all go to 10 nations, which when they made the NATO flag, they didn't add extra. There's 12, there's a fill the blue. There's a fill the blue. Oh, no, that's for the EU. I'm sorry. That's for the EU. I'm getting beside myself. It says 30 European and 2 North American nations. These are 30 European nations. The 2 North American nations happen to be European founded nations as Canada and the Americas. So is America part of the beast system? Yes. But America is also the woman that sat upon the beast. It said founders. Let's open this up. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it's 12, right? Okay, well, this is the original founders. So let me check something out. Okay. You got the United Kingdom. Give me a second here. You got Ireland, which originally is part of the United Kingdom. So now that's 11, right? Where's Spain at? Spain should be here somewhere. Spain is not on this. If Spain is not on this list, they're on the list of the EU. All right, Portugal. Portugal is a part of Spain. Go back to the history. But I'm surprised I can't see Spain. I thought Spain was one of the nations. So these are the original founders, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, 1949. Now the UN, we were out there speaking on it. It was back in, what was it? It was 1999. They had a celebration of 50 years of NATO, and it was the UN that sponsored it. Now check this out. Who's the official, unofficial, official head leader of the UN? It says founders, right? United States, United Kingdom, France, Canada, Seymour. Founded 1949, Washington, D.C. So it came out of D.C. Headquarters just happened to be Brussels, Belgium. But it was the founded D.C. Who started NATO and why? North Atlantic Treaty Organization was created in 1949 by the United States, Canada, and several Western European. It's really come out of the United States, out of D.C., which it says right here, founded D.C. nations to provide collective security against the Soviet Union. They're attacking nations now under the UN treaty, which they have no business attacking. The bringing together the NATO was for if Russia, because remember, you had to go back to World War I and then World War II. This was put together after World War II. The same thing with the UN. The UN formerly, and they did have a League of Nations, but it died when World War II hit because they said, we got a League of Nations. You can do the history. Go to history of the League of Nations or the UN or whatever. After World War I, they said we're going to have a League of Nations. That way we ensure that there's no more wars because we're all under the same banner. When World War II took place, they said this is all BS. So after World War II, they came up with the United Nations. They changed the name because they weren't going to use League of Nations. Now we tried that. They said, okay, let's just change the name. Instead of calling it League of Nations, let's call it United Nations, which means the same fucking thing. So you got what is it? The 100? I can look it up. Let me go ahead and look it up. Number of nations in the UN. Okay, the United Nations has 193 member states. The only two that are not nation. Let me do it this way. Nations that are not members of the UN. I said that the other day. Vatican City, which is considered a nation, although it's 2 miles square, and Palestine, which they were trying, this was months ago, they were trying to get Palestine to become a member. They voted against it. You know why? Because they're enemies to Israel. So it'd be like a conflict of interest. Because then the Palestinians can call on the UN to stop the war or whatever. They don't want that to happen. So you see how everything comes in place? The country's not in the United Nations 2024. Okay, I'm not going to do all this reading. Right, it says Palestine and the Vatican City. Vatican City. Matter of fact, let me do it this way. Let me do it this way. So we're gonna sing when this system goes down. Who controls this system? This world system? NATO and the EU. Okay, give me a second here. What did I say I wanted to go? I'm kind of all over the place. Okay, let's do this. The Vatican City. I should have put in Vatican City. Now, what does it say about them?
Flights from New York to Vatican City leaving January 19th and coming back January 28th start at $478. The shortest flight is about 8 hours and 15 minutes long. You can choose different travel dates on your screen.
Oh, that's not too bad if you want to go to the Vatican City. It's only 500 going. Okay, so it says Vatican City, state surrounded by Rome, Italy, is the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. It's home, which is a nation, it's home to the Pope and a trove of iconic and architecture. It's Vatican Museum House, ancient Roman sculptures, because that's Rome all over again. The three unclean spirit, like Floyd, one out of the mouth, and the false prophet. The false prophet goes back to the Roman, Vatican City, and that's not Babylon the Great, such as the famed Lao Kun and his son as resistance. I don't want to read all this. It says capital Vatican City, official language Latin and Italian. President Fernando Vargas Ziga, so you can look him up. It says population, not even 1,000 people. That's the smallest nation on the planet Earth. Area 109 acres, which is about 2 miles square. Currency, the euro. So this nation is part of the EU. So that's a EU. So when you get the list of the EU nation, you have to mention the Vatican City. Oh, well, that's not a nation. Yes, it is. Look it up. Age, almost 100 years. This is one of the unclean spirits like frogs. So, let me come back over here. Let me do this. Member nations of the EU. So here's a list, all European. That's the B system. And they work hand in hand with NATO. Now let me try something. Portugal is a part of NATO, right? Germany, part of NATO. France, part of NATO. Turkey is not a part of NATO or EU, but a part of NATO. So they all work. Whether you're a NATO nation and an EU nation, or just an EU nation or a NATO nation, you're still a part of the same system. That's the B system.